The mastermind. Jack Turner, once a respected criminology professor, delivers his final lecture at Crestview University. He's calm but bitter. His years of studying criminals have only proven that society never rewards intellect, only chaos. As students applaud, he mutters, "You can't fix a broken system, but you can beat it at its own game." Later that night, he burns his research notes, leaving only one file labeled, Crime 101, The Theory of the Perfect Crime. In a dim cafe, Jack is approached by Lena Cruz, one of his brightest former students, now working private security for elite clients. She proposes a dangerous experiment: use his theory to commit real crimes, to expose the flaws in the justice system. At first, Jack refuses. But after learning his tenure has been revoked due to budget cuts and his reputation tarnished by politics, he reconsiders. He calls Lena back with one chilling line: "Class is in session." Jack and Lena begin assembling a team based on specific criminal archetypes from his studies. Eli Wade, a young, brilliant hacker expelled for cybercrime. Marcus "Flash" Dean, an ex-getaway driver from LA's underground racing circuit. Sophie Hale, a professional con artist who manipulates people with charm and psychology. Jack trains them with lessons disguised as lectures: precision timing, misdirection, and human weakness. They're told, if you follow the theory, you'll never be caught. The crew targets a small, private art gallery. Jack orchestrates every move like a chess match. Eli disables the alarms remotely, Marcus times the getaway, Sophie distracts the guards. It unfolds with surgical precision: no evidence, no fingerprints, no violence. The stolen painting disappears into the black market. Jack watches the news coverage later, smirking. His theory works. He calls it Lesson 1, Predict the System, and You Control It. Detective Sarah Hart, a meticulous investigator known for her intuition, reviews the case. She notices something odd: the thieves didn't just steal valuables, they followed method. She digs into academic journals and stumbles upon Jack Turner's old paper, The Psychology of the Perfect Crime. She begins to suspect someone is putting that theory into action. As the team continues a string of high-profile but non-violent heists, the press dubs them the Scholars. News anchors romanticize them, calling their crimes intellectual art. Jack insists they stay low-profile, but Marcus begins enjoying the fame, bragging in underground circles. Eli's paranoia grows. He believes they're being watched. Lena warns Jack that the operation is slipping out of control. Eli secretly records conversations, fearing Jack might betray them to save himself. Sophie flirts with Marcus to keep him loyal but secretly aligns with Lena, who wants to stop before things spiral. Jack, however, becomes obsessed. His crimes aren't about money anymore, they're about proving control. He starts to see his team as extensions of his theory, not people. Detective Hart traces each heist's location and timing, discovering a recurring pattern. Each aligns with concepts from Jack's old lectures. She realizes the Scholars are not criminals, but students following a curriculum. She visits the university and interviews Jack's former dean, confirming that he disappeared after being denied tenure. She orders surveillance on Lena and soon spots Jack meeting her in secret. Jack plans one final heist, stealing $50 million in bearer bonds from a private vault belonging to corrupt financiers, men who launder money for politicians. Jack rationalizes it as poetic justice, stealing from thieves. But deep down, it's about ego. He promises the crew it'll be their graduation job. Each member gets one task, and one rule: trust the theory, not your instincts. The crew meticulously prepares. Eli sets up a blackout using malware that will shut down the city's power grid for 6 minutes. Marcus maps escape routes and alternate paths. Sophie infiltrates the vault security team using a new alias. Jack's plan runs like clockwork, until he notices subtle changes in Sophie's behavior. She's distant, evasive, and hides calls. Lena warns Jack, someone's writing their own rules. The heist begins. Everything unfolds perfectly until Marcus pulls a gun on Jack in the vault, revealing Sophie's plan. They're taking the money and leaving him behind. Jack stares them down, calm and analytical, and that's why human variables ruin perfection. Sophie hesitates. She still respects Jack. Suddenly, security alarms blare. Eli's blackout ends prematurely. Panic erupts. Lena rushes in as police surround the building. Chaos ensues. Jack, Lena, and Sophie barely escape through a maintenance tunnel. Marcus flees with a duffel bag, and Eli is captured by responding officers. During the escape, Jack is shot in the shoulder. They hide in an abandoned factory, where Lena confronts him. "You wanted to prove you could control crime. Instead, you created it." Jack admits she's right. His theory was never about justice. It was about power. Hart interrogates Eli, who breaks under pressure. He tells her everything, about Jack's rules, his lectures, the crew. Hart studies Jack's notes and realizes he isn't driven by greed. He's trying to expose flaws in society's moral code. She becomes obsessed, seeing Jack as both a criminal and a philosopher. Her captain warns her, "You're starting to admire him." Jack and Lena go underground. He grows weaker from his wound, haunted by guilt. He begins writing again, turning his experiences into a manifesto, Crime 101, the field study. Lena urges him to run, but he refuses. "If I disappear, my theory dies unfinished." Meanwhile, Hart closes in, tracking Lena's purchases and intercepted phone signals. Sophie resurfaces, visiting Jack under the guise of reconciliation. She offers him a deal, help her recover the hidden bonds, and they both vanish for good. Lena senses danger. Sophie's been seen with Detective Hart. She tries to warn Jack, but he's too emotionally invested, convinced Sophie still believes in his work. Jack arranges a meeting in an abandoned lecture hall, the same one where he once taught students. He invites Sophie and secretly leaks the location to Hart. When all three arrive, Jack delivers his final lecture, calm, philosophical, and damning. Every crime fails not because of logic or evidence, but because of emotion. Love, greed, fear. That's the flaw in the human algorithm. Sophie reveals her betrayal. She's been working with Hart for immunity. But as she gloats, Jack's trap springs. Hidden cameras project Sophie's confession live to the police task force outside, revealing her role in Marcus's death. Sophie panics and lunges for Jack, but Hart shoots her in self-defense. In the confusion, Jack vanishes, leaving behind his manuscript and one final note, lesson complete. Months later, Hart sits in her office, reading Crime 101, the field study, published anonymously online. The FBI now uses it as a manual to anticipate and counteract complex crimes. She realizes Jack's intellect has become immortalized, not as a criminal, but as a blueprint for understanding them. She whispers, "You won after all, Professor." In a quiet coastal town in Portugal, a man named Jonathan Reeves tends a small seaside bar. His right shoulder bears a faint scar. A news broadcast reports that all the stolen bonds were recovered, except for one bundle, worth millions. He smirks, pours a drink, and quietly says to a customer, "People always forget lesson 2, never take more than you need." As night falls, the camera pans behind the bar, revealing a hidden study. On the wall are new diagrams, newspaper clippings, and a handwritten title. Crime 102, The Evolution of the Perfect Mind. Jack's voice narrates softly. A perfect crime isn't about escaping justice. It's about rewriting it. Cut to black. End credits roll.